Hello everybody, and good morning, afternoon, or whatever it may happen to be, and welcome to a patch update for 976 and 977 for One Vision, because yeah, these things are just dropping like crazy lately. I should probably, by the way, I want to address one question before we really get properly started here. In terms of something that I see come up very regularly in terms of, like, why do these not come out faster? Why are they not more often? Because it seems to come up every time, like, why isn't it done yet? It's just a few switches, right? And I feel like not many folks are aware that when it comes to each of these fights, like, in the entire game, like, there's, I think, a few thousand or whatever else, every single one of them will have completely different parameters based on, like, high level, low level, if there's a plot event involved, if the, you know, whether you're in certain parts of the game or not, whether you're in Coda or not, that kind of thing. And so every single one of them is basically like a list of units with unique skills and everything else, and it just kind of like spawns stuff in for those skills. So it's not like every single exact piece of equipment has to be put in there, but it's just, it's gonna end up taking a while is what I'm trying to get at there. So if you're ever wondering why is it taking so long, that's probably why. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to it then. So what's new in these two back-to-back patches here? Well, actually, you're noticing one of them right here. There's new spell books and things added. This isn't a crafting book anymore. So let's start with 976. So first of all, Pirates Graveyard battles got reworked. Basically, just the entire thing got redone. Apparently, also there were fairy familiars in Phorampa that have glass pumpkins that are stealable now, as well as having them for drops. There's blood vials in Pirate's Graveyard that have Dovahkiin marks. So if you're looking for the unique class for, was it not Cressida, I forgot her name, Dragon Lady. Anyway, Liches in Pirate's Graveyard have Heretics marks, so you can get those a bit easier. Let's see, Wraiths in Pirate's Graveyard have Summoner's marks. Again, a few, Cressida, I believe, is the one that got Summoner now. Let's see, the version of Unholy Ground, Unholy Ground map with Azelston in your roster will have a female skeleton buccaneer with Pirates Marks drops, as well as a steal. So this is basically as far as I can tell, it's like a more consistent version of what was available in Vanilla there. So for Azelston, getting Buccaneer marks for the other characters that become Buccaneer have always been a bit of a pain. In this particular case, basically there's one skeleton that will always have them. In Vanilla, it was like something like a 10% chance for a fight that you could only do once. It was kind of goofy. Anyway, let's see. Various units in Pirate's Graveyard don't drop elemental armors anymore since they can be crafted, so there's really no need to farm them. Fair enough. Jigla Bracers are now dropped by a Gremlin Incubus in Memories of Turquoise. Jigla Darkcoat is now dropped by a female skeleton Killseeker in the Unholy Ground map. I believe that means that there's two different places for the Jigla set. Could be wrong on that. Moving on. Legion Guards will now drop from a Blood Gavile in Bosom of the Sea God. Legion Helm will drop from Blood Gavile in Midline Drift, and Legion Armor will drop from a Into the Darkness map. Now, I don't know if this means it was taken out of Palace of the Dead or not. Hopefully not. It would be nice to have it drop in multiple places. Alright, Gremlin Tricksters in Graveyard have a Shift Stone for sealing. Some of them will always drop one. A few folks are actually asking for Shift Stones to be a bit more available here. Female Lich in Ripples of Grief story battle, and the male Lich in the random battle of the same name will now drop a Black Plume Arcana at all levels. I believe that's the one that lets you run away from a fight, if you really need that kind of thing in your life. Anyway. Let's see, Torment Arcana is now dropped by Male Lich on Holy Ground. All the units with special drops in graveyards will now appear, and the loot will always drop. Okay, so basically that just kind of goes back with the same general trend towards always guaranteeing certain drops, so you don't have to repeatedly do the same maps. The Nemrva Wood random battle now spawns a Skeleton Fusiliers that has some Stalker marks. I believe that's... I think it's marks for the new Lindo class. I don't remember what Stalker marks are for. Anyway, moving on. Snipe Gators will drop from a female sniper in Palace of the Dead floor 80 instead of the Nemrva Wood random battle. Okay. I thought they... I don't remember them dropping in the woods, but oh well. Rackham will drop an elixir during Azelston's quest. Basically, elixirs are just generally less available right now because they got changed out of Phorampa, as I recall. Alright. Equipment changes. The first 2 weapon tiers are a bit stronger. It should take, should make the start of the game a bit less tedious. Yeah, basically you have more complete kills going on there. Let's see, attacking with 2H ranged weapons now costs a bit less RT, just basically makes bows faster. Oops. Didn't actually start the fight there. Alright, Gaibolj, Muramasa, and Jormungand can be used to complete the Shadowmaster set. Hang on, what does the Shadowmaster set do? Is that, that's not Lament of the Dead, is it? I don't know, it's one of those sets that doesn't come up very often, but either way, if you're looking for the Shadowmaster set, there you go. One-handed Fusilier's got 1 extra range, also, because of the range gap between them and the two-handed ones is higher than for other weapons, their damage gap is also now a bit lower. So, nice little buff for pistols. I kind of thought pistols were in a good place already, so that should be nice and strong there. We're just going to go ahead and set this guy to melee, see how he does with these books, by the way. We'll get to what those books are in a moment, don't worry. There's a reason I'm going and covering this one first. Fusiliers lost access to Barricade and gain access to Fumarole, I believe is how that's pronounced. So the thing is, yeah, Fusiliers for the longest time have been putting down those double barricades, and they did look pretty goofy. Like, they would just basically cover the entire map in barricades. It got silly. Geomancer got access to the Leyline skill. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what Fumarole is, don't worry, I did miss it. We'll explain that in a moment. Alright, spells and abilities. RT cost of range finishers is lower, so can spam those a little bit better for debuffs. Added a new active skill, Leyline. It inflicts Rupture and Stagger in a line and destroys obstacles, which is kind of funny because that would have been incredibly useful for getting rid of all those barricades, but I assume that'll be really useful for stuff like, you know, Zabos and whatever. Barricade skill was changed to Fumarole, a long-range grenade that inflicts Spell Slip and Feeble Mind. They aren't much into magic in Bellbode, but that doesn't mean they're entirely helpless against it. In any case, Barricade was a bit dirty on the player side. The AI would wall themselves in more often than anything else. Maybe this turns out to be more useful, or at least less derpy. Funnily enough, that's one of the things that 977 fixed, because it did do a little bit of a derpy thing in which the AI would target itself. That's fixed now. Anyway, Phalanx now costs 60 TP and 15 RT. We'll give this a try, maybe make some battles feel less like a forest of statues. So yeah, just in general, like slowing down all of the constant, you know, walls of different stuff all over the place. So definitely okay with that. That definitely got pretty dang silly in some cases. Glass pumpkins have been removed as a Cyclops auction reward. They can easily be obtained from fairies in Phorampa. A, makes more sense. B, dang it, I really should get to updating the guide more than once every 2 years. Auctioning a Cyclops will now yield 1 wild card instead. That'll be incredibly useful. Sleep generally lasts 1 less turn. Alright, so, fair enough, fair enough. Let's move on to the one from today, 977. Man, we are getting real close to 1.0 over there. No pressure. Anyway. Fortress battles during the 6 temples have been reworked, because there's something new, like, friggin' every patch now, like, the entire dungeon's getting reworked. Reavering now always drops from Lobos and Bode Fortress during the 6 temples quests. It can't be stolen from the Grim Reaper in Phorampa anymore. See, I really should have waited to do One Man, One Goal, One Vision until this happened, because it took so dang long to get that dang ring. Anyway, it makes more sense to drop from Lobos. He is kind of an important character that doesn't really do anything special, like item-wise. All right, the Stalker's Mark now drops and can be stolen from a skeleton headhunter in Nimrava Wood. I think that's Nimrava. I think that's how you pronounce that. Added a Killseeker in Phorampa, Whisper of Leaf and Water that will drop an Exile's Mark and now has a few more to steal. Alright, fair enough. Exile, I believe, is... I want to say that's, Vice's thing? No, that's not Vice's thing. That's, what's it? Habrim. That's Habrim's deal. By the way, I apologize for getting these mixed up. There's just so many new classes that are added in one vision now. I just get them mixed up all the dang time. It's a thing. Anyway, added a Shadow Knight in Phorampa, the Frostfen that has Oathblade marks. That is, Ravenous's thing. Right? Or is... No. Oathblade. Dang it. Which one's which now? Okay, we're gonna go take a look at these real quick to get this clarified, because actually Oathblade sounds like Habrim's deal. One sec. Let's go over here. Let's go over to the transcription thing, which, by the way, transcription, Forgery, this is just a thing that'll become relevant later. Don't worry about it. Now, let's go down to Forgery. Let's go down all the way over here, and let's take a look here. So, Sovereign is Lord, Brave is to Ranger for Vice, Simple Heretic Windrider. Right, these are going to be the ones that are in Ars Magna, aren't they? Okay. So yeah, Dovahkiin is Oshun's thing, Oathblade is Paragon, so yes, that is, what's her face? That is Ravnus's thing. You got the other ones up here someplace. Where are ya? Exile is Blade Knight, so yeah, that is, that's going to be Habarim's thing. And I know, it should be more obvious, because, you know, Exile, he was exiled, etc. It's just what I'm thinking immediately, and this is strange, because comparatively I play Tactics Ogre way more, is I keep thinking of the Exile from Fellseal. And it's like the the green dude from that one other game I can't remember the name of. Anyway. Stalker is Headhunter, so that is Gamp's thing. There we go. Druid's Mark is the Geomancer. Who the hell has Geomancer at this point? I don't even remember. Summoner, I know Cressida has that. I want to say a few people can be Geomancer. We'll check that in a moment. Alright. Actually, wait a minute. If we go to this, by any chance, can it tell us who does what here? Okay, apparently the sisters can be Geomancers. Good to know. Good to know. Alright. Anyway, back onto things here. So, Shadow Knight and Phorampa has Oathblade marks. So if you're looking for those, go to Phorampa. There's no more level requirement to spawn the Cenobite and Bloodhunter in Phorampa that have the Sybil and Braves class marks. So basically, yeah, if you're looking to unlock Priest or Ranger, or you need more marks for those are just there in Phorampa at all times. Before, I believe they were locked into the high-level version, so if you were at, like, 20s instead of 25 or whatever, you might have potentially missed those. So again, just going back on that same trend of preventing missables. Dragons and Golems in the neutral route, Mount Webry, should now belong to the neutral faction and won't attack unless attacked first, as is similar to the Battle on Law route. Which is funny, because I think the Beast units and Undead units in that fight did already. I forget exactly how it all goes, but yeah, basically each one of those monster fights, for anyone that didn't know this before, there's always certain ones that won't attack you. So there's a lot more neutral factions than people realize. It's just, yeah, not everything on the map is an enemy. And more often than not, if you double check who's part of what faction before you actually get started, you might potentially avoid an entire half of a fight. But yeah, that particular one apparently had an issue with Dragons and Golems not spawning as neutral for whatever reason. Alright, Tooth and Claw can now drop and be stolen from Cyclopes in all reworked battles, as is suggested by their auction list. That one I know personally bugged me before, because it does talk about how they have these teeth and claws and they're all scary and everything, and then, yeah, they didn't actually have tooth and claw. Anyway, now, one of the ones that I'm really excited for here, spellbooks and instruments don't have attack dead zones anymore. It's actually one of the things that kept me from using them for the longest time, because I love the general idea. Like, it's basically a ranged attack and everything else, but it was basically following the same thing that FFT did, wherein you specifically have to target them through a weird dead zone, and it's okay, fine. It's like, mechanically, that's kind of a cool idea, because it's like, it's a wizard, they're sniping somebody over there with all their magic-y stuff, but it made it incredibly awkward to use, because you would almost never be in the right exact range, and then, you ended up positioning them weird, and you potentially got them, left in some weird open position, and it was just, it felt weird, So anyway, now they don't have a dead zone anymore, and you've probably seen some of that. Additionally, I don't know if it actually mentioned this, but it looks like their attack animations changed, so it looks way cooler. Instead of just like a long-range poke, it's like you're actually swinging the book and I guess kind of like phantom swinging it far away, which I personally really like as a concept. Anyway. So, spellbooks and instruments don't have the dead zone. Biblion Automier is now crafted with the Exotics crafting book, along with cudgels and whips. I should probably go make one of those, actually. Actually, it wouldn't be useful for this class, would it? The Ars Go Show was added as a Dark Elemental spellbook. It's craftable with the Magicka and Shuridian. Those babynames.com websites aren't really a thing in the Ogre universe yet, so people apparently like to use this instead. Extra bit of trivia, it was also Baby Cressida's picture book. Well, ain't that adorable? Cudgel and Whip crafting book was renamed to the Exotics. Cudgel and Shuridian crafting book was renamed to Magicka and Shuridian. Which also has book, but anyway. And by the way, for anyone that didn't know, part of the reason that you would like to use these for like a double attack type deal is because it gives you pretty bonkers racial bonuses on these ones. Like I think it was +1 in vanilla. It's in one vision. It's +3 per each one. So, for example, I was really looking for something to boost demonology, or I think it was umbrology, or whatever it was for this run. To try to make sure that in case the last boss actually had something that would prevent me from getting past damage threshold, it would be useful. Well, in this particular case, it would give you almost an entire second thing for that whole. I mean, it would boost your skill up to 14. That's ridiculous. But you can see how this might potentially be useful. You can make use of that rupture effect. Basically, spellbooks, despite having a lower overall attack power, are relatively lightweight and also give you a lot more kind of like attack range options. So if you're looking for a counter build, it could potentially be really useful, plus you've got the intelligence bonuses and things like that. It's just, they've got a lot of uses that were getting very severely gimped by the dead zone. Like, I legitimately prefer them as they were melee weapons than I did when they had the dead zone, and right now, they look like they're in a pretty friggin' awesome spot where they're just like a low damage, kind of interesting utility kind of weapon. So we'll see how this all ends up working out. This literally just came out last night, I think, so yeah. Anyway, Transcription Crafting Book was replaced with Forgery, which now drops in the same place for now, so that should be floor 13, I think it was, or 23, one of those. If you already have Transcription, you can use it to craft Forgery, which will effectively convert it into the new one. Something to note, by the way, is that, yeah, it'll just basically convert it directly. There's really no downside. This is really just kind of like a mechanical thing, so you don't have to go back and get it again. Anyway, that's what I was showing earlier. So, Codex of Timber and Textiles was merged into Codex of Life, which deals with all organic materials. Does it mention? I don't think it mentions Codex of Ores here. Something to mention here is that, yeah, the Codex of Ores, you might have to buy it again. I'm pretty sure it was because of the transcription change into Forgery. But yeah, I know personally on this one man, one goal, one vision thing, I had to rebuy Codex of Ores for that. I mean, it's not a big deal whatsoever. It's one of the most basic books, but just so you know, if you can't find it, it's going to be there. All right. So, oh yeah, here we go. Some crafting books are moved around, so if you're missing Herbalism or Codex of Gems, you can buy them in the shop. Again, I don't know if he meant Codex of Gems or Codex of Ores, but either way, just go to the store and rebuy them. It's not a big deal. If you see a new crafting book all the way at the bottom of the list, ignore it for now. It's supposed to be used in the 6 Temples quest. Curious how that's going to go. We'll see. No news on that yet. If you see any primal orbs among the crafting materials, ignore those too for the same reason. So he's putting in a side quest. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. It's probably to get around some of the weird, like, just weird general jank with the temple side quests, because there's some situations where people weren't able to unlock certain characters in vanilla and whatnot. So, either way. Fans in the treasure category were removed from the game and replaced with other treasure where needed. So, unclear exactly what that implies as of yet, but, you know, just fans are not a treasure thing, but we'll see what else ends up coming up. Now, another one, this is the reason that I'm going to end up redoing the tier list for One Vision for the different classes and everything. Because, yeah, the Terror Knight got yet another buff to the point that they are seriously high tier at this point. Lament of the Dead also removes a bit of TP if it hits. That doesn't sound like much, but the thing is already one of the best, like, if arguably the best debuff in the game, plus it removes TP, which, again, it's like 20 or 30, so it's not, you know, like, it's draining their entire bar or anything. But if you have a move that can not only, like, it was already a really good move for countering finishers. Like, if you landed a, you know, your 60% on somebody that was about to hit you with a finisher, you basically took like 20-30% of its damage off. Sometimes you just removed all of its bonuses entirely if the threshold wasn't, you know, funky enough. In this particular case, you're also potentially taking away their ability to hit the thing at all. So you might save yourself a debuff. So, potentially very useful, but we'll see. And it's funny because, like, in terms of stuff that's changed this time around, the change to these spell books here, like, bear in mind this guy right now, he's not doing very much because he's basically at level 1 with these books. But this might actually change this entire run to suddenly allow for certain things to be a lot more useful. Like, for example, being able to spam summons because suddenly everybody's hit with Rupture and stuff like that. But anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there, just potentially an interesting change to this particular run. Alright, Tyrannico and Fumarole are now only usable on enemies. I mean, I thought... Well, I guess, yeah, with Tyrannico, you kind of... Okay, I say you. I know I personally had a kind of stupid thing that I occasionally put my own people to sleep. It's not necessarily always a bad thing, because if you know somebody's about to get charmed or something like that, you can sometimes just put them to sleep instead. You know, sometimes there are very oddly specific situations where you would want to put somebody to sleep, but by and large, it was usually an accident. Alright, and last thing on the list, a list of... Oh, actually, no. Fumarole. So, yeah, Fumarole, the AI was regularly targeting it as if it was a buff, so it's good now. It's all good, it's all functional. Everything is as it ought to be, basically. Alright, anyway. And then the last thing on the list is a list of all class marks and the ways of obtaining them was added to the class table in the resource G drive given in the FAQ section. So there we go. That's all of it. Yeah, Terror Knights got buffed, Spellbooks got made good. It's not like they were bad before, it's just, I mean, they're friggin' amazing now. So we'll see how that all ends up going in the grand scheme of things. If you're wondering what the deal is with the double book thing, it's something that the Lord could exclusively do, which is what the deal is with this guy here. To further clarify another little detail for anyone that didn't watch this run, by the way, no, the Lord is not super broken or whatever else. This is a guy that literally has been just eating stat cards for a year, so don't assume that this is going to be a standard thing, just kind of FYI. This is a character that should not be and was never intended to be in this way. And yeah, so aside from that, it seems like there's a lot of good changes. It seems like a lot of the bonus stuff is getting reworked now. I'm really looking forward to continuing this particular run when Coda gets all redone and everything else. Because as it stands, I mean, it's all basically vanilla. There's not really too much of a reason to go do the run right now. So it's like, it's functionally complete until 1.0 hits, more or less. So either way, really excited to see how all that ends up going. And yeah, given the rate that he's popping these out so far, I guess we should probably see version like 1.50 sometime sometime next week. It's honestly kind of incredible how fast these updates are coming out lately. Like, I want to say in the last 4 months we've like was it like 3-4 updates in that time? It's ridiculous. All right, so that'll be that. You guys have a good one. Take care, and hope you're all staying safe out there.